opens with his own decks, and they're always fantastic.
Yeah, and they're always super cool, super original. Jeff Hoogland sleeving up the full set of Desecrations and Blood Gift Demons. 8 of those. 4th Ragtusk. So many Planeswalkers. He has 8 Planeswalkers. He has Liliana of the Veils, Vraska of the Unseens, and Garruk Primal Hunters.
What I like is his late game card, his own Sphinx's Revelation. He's playing a Staff of Nin also in his deck.
Ping ya. Staff of Nin, just like a Honden of the Seeing Winds that has not been picked up yet. And really, I mean, it seems kind of decent in this metagame when now that I think about it, in this bruiser-heavy, slow mid-range metagame, Staff of Nin is probably going to draw a lot of cards in any game it comes down.
Yeah, Jeff Hoogland's going down to 6 cards. The staff's okay. I think one of the biggest issues with it is that the 1 damage is completely irrelevant. So you really are just playing a 6-mana, blue Honden, which, in his deck, I'm questioning whether or not that's better than a card like Underworld Connections.
Yeah, that's true too. Underworld Connections is pretty much the same effect, but half the price. Now, I really like Jeff Hoogland's removal suite. He's playing a lot of versatile answers, but he's not maxing out on the ones that aren't actually that versatile. Like he has 2 Abrupt Decay, he has 2 Tribute to Hunger, 2 Sever the Bloodline, 3 Ultimate Price. Now, he still has this 9 removal spell package, but a lot of them are good at different times. I like Sever the Bloodline, but I don't like 4. I like Abrupt Decay, but I don't like 4.
Right, so he has 2 of each. I think what Jeff's going to have to make sure is the problem here is that they're both playing these mid-range decks. Kevin's probably better positioned to go bigger. So Jeff is going to be forced into being the more aggressive of these 2 decks, which his 12 creature deck is going to be a little harder pressed to do. Like I said, we do have a big Planeswalker fight that could happen. Jeff Hoogland, I think Garruk Primal Hunter will be very important for him in this matchup. So both players, this is going to be a big, like I said, this is definitely a trade binder matchup on both sides. And both players really just breaking out all the different mythic rares that they've opened over the last month, sleeving them into decks, and smashing them into each other.
Jeff Hoogland on the draw on 6 cards. He'll have the first play, though, in a Farseek.
Yeah, nothing better like a Farseek to help you cast all those really sweet mythics that are in your deck.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin will think twice. So both players, just kind of, well, there aren't any sweet cards that cost 2, so, they're just going to develop for a while until they start smashing into each other.
It's a shame that you even have to play cards that cost 2 and 3. Why can't we just all play 5 drops?
Right. You have to make sure you have plenty of lands and, plenty of sweet things.
Like 30 land, 35 drops. Could be an all right
So
deck.
Jeff is going to start out with Desecration Demon. And remember, because Kevin really doesn't have very many ways to make small creatures, this guy's pretty much just a 6/6 flying trample. Yeah. Trample, right? No, just flying. Just 6 flying for 6. He's no Abyssal Persecutor.
Desecration Demon's ability, if you haven't faced this guy in Limited yet, at the beginning of each combat, your opponent can sack a creature. If they do, it's tapped and gets a +1/+1 counter. Yep, there it is.
Right, so it's just going to get Oblivion Ringed by Kevin Ragsdale. Which is probably, Hoogland's got to be okay with that. He does not have a 5th land, though. And yeah, the old stuck on 4. Which actually, in this sort of matchup, is pretty devastating. Especially if he's got to hope that Kevin doesn't play like a Tamiyo. No, it'll just be Thragtusk. So you may notice in these matchups the life totals will be heading in the wrong direction for a lot of the way, too. Kevin jumps up to 25. Kevin has so many cards that are good at gaining life. He has Healers, Thragtusks, Restoration Angels for the Thragtusks. He has Sphinx's Revelation. Really, he's able to keep himself in a healthy life total.
Yeah, and all Jeff Hoogland can do is add another land to the board in terms of Farseek and take the beats to the face.
Right. And Jace, Architect of Thought, comes down for Kevin Ragsdale.
Wow, Jeff Hoogland really on the back foot here.
Yeah, not hitting his 5th land is pretty influential here. And it'll be land, Syncopate. Kevin may just take the lands here. Yeah, he will. Syncopate doesn't matter nearly as much as continuing to curve higher and higher.
Right.
And Sunpillar Grove into play. Possible Syncopate mana up. Hoogland doesn't really have the luxury of playing around it, though.
No,
He'll go for Garruk Primal Hunter, and it's going to resolve. Jeff gets a beast into play. Primal Hunter very strong in this matchup.
Yeah, Jeff definitely back in this game now after resolving that Primal Hunter. Kevin, not actually that many ways to deal with permanents once they're in play. He has
No.
a decent amount of counters, but...
He has the one O-ring and one detention sphere, and that's really it.
Yeah, Tamiyo anytime will be so good for Kevin Ragsdale. He would love to draw that.
You just gotta hope that Kevin doesn't have a Tamiyo right here, which, I mean, I don't really think he does. It'd certainly be slammed if he had one.
There is that one of detention
One of
sphere,
detention
though.
sphere. Yep, and he correctly gets the beast token, so then Thragtusk is going to take down Grump.
Yep, Jace will +1, remain on the battlefield.
Hoogland going to need more threats, and his hand is just full of cards. Sixth land, Cavern of Souls, almost certainly naming Demon.
Yep, he might have to force through his Thragtusk, but he's still at 15, so the most likely one's Demon.
Yeah, and the Cavern is set on Demon. Yeah. And he will, it's funny, he puts Cavern on Demon and then casts Thragtusk.
Yeah, slams the Cavern into play.
The biggest thing is he has 4 Blood Gift Demon, and that's a card which I think will be pretty relevant to this matchup. And there we go, the ubiquitous, sorry, one of the plays in Standard that's the Restoration Angel on Thragtusk. So strong here. Kevin will go up to 30, get a 3/3.
That's not too bad for 4 mana.
No, that play is really one of the defining plays of Standard here. It's able to close the door against so many decks.
It's almost like a Courser's Accord.
If it had flying and flash
And cost
gain
less.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Restoration Angel, as you see on your left there. I'd seen a lot of play previously in Delver, and now it's from new favorite partner is Thragtusk.
Yep, the Tusks trade, and Jeff Hoogland gets a 3/3. Kevin Ragsdale also gets another 3/3.
And Jace will select more cards. We see Cyclonic Rift, Think Twice, and Celestia Guildgate.
Yeah, and Cyclonic Rift will surely go into Kevin Ragsdale's hand. Pretty much going to put
Possible.
the game
The thing
away.
is that the other one's 3 cards. Yeah, he's still going to take the Rift. Let's say one of Cyclonic Rift as well.
That's a card that's been slowly catching on in Standard now. Wow, I've been really impressed with that card when I've seen it played.
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to go big, this is a card that's very good at it. An end of turn Cyclonic Rift. Typically, certainly wins games of Limited and can win games of Constructed too. Staff of Nin comes down for Jeff Hoogland and pings that final point off the Jace. Ragsdale has got him. Didn't see that one coming.
No, can't really play around the Staff of Nin.
Probably Inspiration for 5 here at the end. Yeah, so Staff of Nin, Hoogland's hand. Remember, it's not like Hoogland's been lacking for cards. It's really, that type 4 thing where he's kind of choked up on only being able to play 1 spell a turn. He's very far behind on the board. The question is what sweepers he might have, and he has Sever the Bloodline. 2 severs is really his best sweeper, and I'm using the term sweeper pretty loosely here. The problem is that were he to cast Sever and hit his own beast token.
Right.
He has that 2 beasts will trade, Hoogland will drop to 7.
Yep, he has to keep out of Cyclonic Rift range. He has to make sure his life total does not go below Kevin Ragsdale's creature power, which is 6 right now.
And we'll see Centaur Healer down for Ragsdale, jumping up to 33.
Just a casual 33 life, that's all.
And I've seen boards, these Bant Mirrors that really can just be miserable. Did Hoogland, I think looks like he drew his 2nd card, but still did not find the land. So he's going to have to make do without land. He has 8 cards here. He has a Liliana that can act as a kill spell. He's really just got to make sure he's not dead.
Up here, there's the Liliana.
Edict away the beast.
And now Jeff Hoogland needs another kill spell.
He's going to have to pass the turn. Yeah, his only other 3-drop was another Liliana. Restoration Angel comes into play, and before it comes down, he's going to tribute Ragsdale. Which, if Ragsdale sacks that, then he sacks Centaur Healer, and Angel cannot blink Angel. So.
Nope. So Angel's Blink does nothing. Kevin Ragsdale stays at 33. Does not get to go up to 36. Jeff Hoogland up to 11. But will soon be down to 5.
Right, so he's got to be careful because we know that Cyclonic Rift is in Ragsdale's hand.
Yeah, if I'm Ragsdale, I just ignore that Liliana and just attack Jeff's face.
Yeah, especially because Jeff does have another Liliana in hand. You don't want to activate that.
Right.
Power Fountain to play tapped, and we'll see Thragd.
Wow.
Kevin jumps up to 38 life.
38 life points. Jeff Hoogland has not entered the red zone yet. He's about to do his first point of damage, though, with the Staff of Ningpin. Nope. Guess not.
Yeah, he's drawing the extra card. He didn't shoot Ragsdale's face with the staff there on end step. Oh, he did. Okay, so 37. Probably not affecting the game too much one way or the other.
No, probably not.
The problem is with this Angel Thragtusk interaction. It's just so hard to deal with. It's very hard when playing another deck, which is curving out with rares, to compete on efficiency with Thragtusk or Angel. The big problem is, like I said, these players are limited to one spell per turn, and the amount of advantage gained by that interaction is probably just better than anything else that Hoogland can be doing.
More than one spell.
Right.
Certainly, 4 mana. And that's game 1 to Kevin Ragsdale.
Right.
You see their final life totals 37 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
They added up to more than 40 between them.
Fair enough. So yeah, this is one of those matchups. It's a haymaker matchup. So out of the board, we'll probably see both players just continue to get bigger. So what does that mean for each of them? Well, let's look at Kevin Ragsdale's deck. He has another Detention Sphere, which is probably a very good card in this matchup. Outside of that, he has another Oblivion Ring as well. I'm not sure anything else is particularly strong here. He does have 2 negates, which I would not be surprised to see him board in. He may think that Jeff Hoogland has more creatures than he actually does right now. Hoogland only has 12 creatures.
Right, the non-spells that Hoogland played, he played 1 Tribute, he played Farseeks, he played a Staff of Nin, and a couple Planeswalkers, so I'm guessing Kevin's going to side in the negates here. They seem pretty good.
Right. So the question is, yeah, if he puts Jeff on not having very many creatures, that is probably the sideboard. So then on Jeff's side, what we have is, well, what can he do to get bigger here? He has Pithing Needles to deal with the Planeswalkers. It's probably good enough, possibly not. I think you probably do make that play.
I think so too. I mean, if he had small creatures to attack the Planeswalkers with, that would be one thing, but he doesn't. You can't exactly Desecration Demon Tameo to death. That's not going to work for quite a few different reasons.
So he also has a second Staff of Nin and a pair of Bloodline Keepers. Between that and Sever the Bloodline, he may try to run them. Sever the Bloodline's a little dangerous because of the presence of Restoration Angel.
It is. When you tap 4 on your turn and they respond by tapping 4, you both trade a card, but your opponent gets 6 more power and 5 more life out of the bargain. That's not good. So I think we'll still see him bring them in, though. I think we'll see the full set of Severs after board. Maybe 2 Mutilates if he really wants to morph into kind of a controlling role, but I don't think that that's going to happen. That just doesn't seem like what Jeff wants to be doing here.
Right, that's not something, I really don't like that play, especially because he has in his deck 12 non-swamp lands. Mutilate seems actually pretty ambitious in most matchups. In this matchup in particular, though, I'd imagine that, you can't expect to Mutilate. Maybe by turn 6 it'll be doing 3. And 3 is really the magic number here against Ragsdale. I can't see myself really liking Mutilate, because I don't think I'd ever actually kill a Restoration Angel.
No, probably not.
Though to be fair, a sweeper was what he really needed in that last matchup. So I kind of like the idea of siding in a Mutilate. My biggest issue isn't actually with siding in it, it's more of the role that Mutilate has in Hoogland's deck. I'm just not positive the X is big enough on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate that that he has to play so many non-swamps. He has 2 caverns, 4 woodland cemetery, 6 forest. And this is assuming that Evolving Wilds always gets swamped too.
Right, which, were that the case, he'd be playing swamp, so clearly sometimes he can't actually do that.
Right. Yeah, now if it was Damnation, I would say main deck it, and that it would be a great card, but this deck just might rely a little too heavily on the green.
One of the things that I really find interesting going back to Kevin Ragsdale's deck is how he's built his mana base. You know what? Yeah, the fact that he has 3 Celestia Guild Gates in it, coming into play tap lands, he's really is fine doing that. We're going to actually, while they're starting their match, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to need to reset our stream. We'll be back in less than a minute, though. So stay tuned. We'll bring you game 2 of this match. And two players, I believe, have resolved mulligans. They're going to go ahead and get started right any second now.
Jeff Hoogland on the right. 0-1 with his black-green demon deck.
Loving Wilds, Hinterland Harbor. So I was saying before, Kevin Ragsdale's deck has 3 Celestia Guild Gates in it. He's just really is all about developing the mana base. Most of his lands are going to come into play tapped every turn. It's really almost like a Vivid control deck, but in the absence of Vivid lands, he's just playing a ton of duels.
Right, I mean, when you're going to play the best spell on every spot in the curve, all you want to do is make sure you have the mana for these spells.
He has 4 Glacial Fortress and 0 Hallowed Fountain. Oh, no, sorry, 4 Hallowed Fountain, sorry. So yeah, he has 4 of both, my mistake. Right, turn to Farseek from Hoogland, gets his mana base really humming there. And we see Plains out of Ragsdale. No plays, we'll pass back, Hoogland will take turn 3.
Yeah, and see right now, Jeff Hoogland, Forest Woodland Cemetery already.
Right.
So Mutilate just really would not be the card he wants here.
Another Woodland Cemetery from Hoogland will make Liliana of the Veil.
And that is super powerful. He can even pay for Syncopate right here.
We'll have both players discard, and Ragsdale will think twice before discarding. He does have to make sure that if he's going to go on this plan of Liliana eating Ragsdale's entire hand, that he does not lose to a Sphinx's Revelation.
Right.
But having Liliana down this early seems pretty key. Supreme Verdict is discarded, and so is Abrupt Decay.
Yep, put him back in the binder. They won't be needed this game.
Yeah. Guildgate from Ragsdale. No plays.
Possibly holding up Essence Scatter or Syncopate here.
Yep, Hoogland on 5. It's going to make both players discard again. It's going to be an Evolving Wilds and a Centaur Healer, and then Desecration Demon from Hoogland, as that's going to get very quickly Essence Scattered. Hoogland's down to 1 card in hand, which Hoogland's trying to aggressively activate that Liliana and get rid of all his own cards. 4th land from Ragsdale, that's pretty clearly representing Restoration Angel. He's going to try to stop the Liliana from ultimating.
Right, this is a great situation for Hoogland, though, because assuming he has any spell he can play, he'll be able to empty his hand here.
Cavern and Guildgate. Yep, there's Restoration Angel that comes down. No land by Hoogland. He just has but 1 card left.
No land, no kill spell. Makes me wonder what that last card in his hand is.
Yeah. Angel knocks Liliana down to 3. Yeah, if he can't answer that Angel, this isn't going to matter.
Oh, it's a Vraska the Unseen. Okay.
It's an Edict Away the Angel and Farseek. I think he clearly is playing on this counter magic, and another Angel I think is going to come. Okay, going to Sphinx's Revelation for 2 for Ragsdale. Puts him up to 22.
Yep, it's best Inspiration Impersonation here.
Yeah, Inspiration paying an extra life to gain 2.
Good.
An okay card. It's really that versatility that's excellent.
And Jeff Hoogland can't be too upset to see that.
And there we go with Thragtusk again. Kevin Ragsdale's life total going up. Now at 27. 2 lands in play. Liliana has no choice but to plus if he wants to use it. Hoogland's going to make a 2nd Planeswalker. This one's Vraska the Unseen. It's going to exile Thragtusk, but Ragsdale will get a 3/3. So he'll get to have his choice of Planeswalkers. Hoogland really likes the last card in his hand. He's not going to plus the Liliana.
No, I think it's an Abrupt Decay. If I'm Ragsdale, I'm pretty sure I'd just take out the Vraska here.
Yeah, I'm not particularly scared of Liliana.
Now, Liliana on 1 is not too impressive.
And there's the power of Thragtusk. And he's actually going to go hit he's going to take out Liliana and then make his own Planeswalker. This one's Jace, though.
Okay.
Syncopate, 2nd Jace, negate. Hoogland can't like any of these choices. Remember, he has Abrupt Decay, so actually none of these are going to die. Or none of these, no, it's not going to get countered. But the bigger problem, which clearly faces Hoogland here, is that there's Jace and more Jace.
Right.
He's down cards in hand, and he's down cards in the future. Ragsdale will ship the Jace to a double counter spell. So while Hoogland's Abrupt Decay won't be countered, it's going to be hard-pressed to resolve any other spell.
Abrupt Decay, unfortunately, just can't quite counter a Planeswalker. It can come very close, but...
Thragtusk goes on. This is playing around Syncopate. That was a freshly drawn Thragtusk, and none too soon. And Vraska will know mercy. And that will bring back to Kevin.
Yeah, now that Vraska is threatening to kill that Jace as early as next turn if he wants it to.
I think we see Entreat the Angels in Ragsdale's hand. Yep, Beast will trade with Thragtusk. Beast token over for Hoogland. Oh, 2 Beast tokens. We only have 1. And Ragsdale will get rid of his Jace. We have Sun Petal Grove, Restoration Angel, and Hallowed Fountain. And Hoogland will go lands versus spells. Ragsdale will opt for the spell.
So Ragsdale now sitting on 2 counter spells and a Restoration Angel.
And he has a Think Twice in his yard. So Vraska the Unseen, right now, able to destroy another permanent. A lot of times this card works as a double Vindicate, is kind of the best thing you can hope to have it do in Standard. The -7 oftentimes not as powerful as -3/+1/3.
Right.
So Thragtusk is going to come down for another one for Ragsdale. He's now up to 32. Jeff once again really has shown that resources. It's very hard to outmuscle Thragtusk on the resource front.
Yeah, and now the Vraska's probably going to have to -3 kill the Thragtusk and Abrupt Decay take out the token.
It's possible. He may hold out for something better. This is one of the last windows he has to resolve something. And he's going to agree with that line. He's going to take the 3/3 and he's going to make Bloodgift Demon. Bloodgift Demon, remember, is a Phyrexian arena for either player. Remember, these two players at, I believe it's 32 and 25. So life totals being as irrelevant as they are, Bloodgift Demon is going to be one of those must-answer cards. So a Syncopate and a Negate in Hoogland's hand. Bloodgift Demon will knock Hoogland down to 24, drawing him an extra card.
Yep, the life total's not that relevant in this matchup. Generally, the life totals change in huge chunks, huge swings. And Jeff Hoogland looks like he drew a Desecration Demon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to make that Desecration Demon right now. He's going to hit in with, he's just going to Farseek instead.
Yeah, he's going to play around Syncopate for as long as possible here. He's going to make Kevin Ragsdale tap out, as opposed to do it himself. And the Beast trade, Kevin Ragsdale with the land. And that's it.
Alright. Okay, it's possible that Ragsdale... Okay, so what happened is that Ragsdale missed one of his Thragtusk triggers. These are actually the correct life totals as you see on the board.
So Bloodgift Demon gets in, drops Kevin to 17.
He's going to put down Pithing Needle. I believe he's going to... I would probably name Jace here, although, to be honest, there's only one Jace left.
Yeah, I think I named Tamio.
The question is whether it's better to preemptively name a Planeswalker or wait until he casts one. And it's on Jace.
Wow, that's pretty surprising. One's on the bottom of Kevin Ragsdale's deck, one's in the graveyard. And he only has one available in the 75.
Yeah, I would assume that he has, 4, so it'd be a 2-outer. Alright, and Ragsdale appears just to be flooding here. So Bloodgift Demon knocks Kevin Ragsdale down to 12. And Bloodgift Demon really has just done heavy lifting and bringing Jeff Hoogland back into this game. He's going to make a second demon. This one's the Desecration Demon. He has to make sure that's going to get syncopated for a lot of mana. That's pretty nice. That Syncopate is, I think it just taps everything. Is a pretty big tell that Ragsdale does not have a sweeper in hand.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little brave tapping out by Jeff Hoogland for that Desecration Demon. The Supreme Verdict would really be pretty bad for him.
I believe Hoogland still does have a Think Twice in his... Ragsdale has a Think Twice in his yard. I think he's forgotten about his own Think Twice. Anyway, Entreat the Angels is going to come down. That's going to make 3 Angels.
3 4/4 flyers, and Jeff Hoogland really needs to sever the bloodline here.
Right, well, fortunately, the demon will attempt to go get one for him. He's going to ultimate price one of them.
Yep, Hoogland down to 21, draws an extra.
Looking for a sever, and yeah, I was going to say, I was wondering whether or not that ultimate price was a little hasty.
Probably was.
Well, sometimes you get into this habit where you want to instep your spells because it's like being mana efficient, but sometimes that extra information is all you actually need. Were he to not draw on the sever, he could untap and probably spend 2 of his main phase mana to ultimate price something.
Exactly. I mean, oh wow. So there's the verdict.
Actually, let's hit the Supreme Verdict. It's a little late. The Bloodgift Demon's really already done his damage.
Yeah, Jeff Hoogland with a full hand. He has 4 in hand right now, all spells. Make that 5.
And there you go, back to Thragtusk.
Up to 26 for Jeff Hoogland, 7 for Kevin Ragsdale.
Yep, it's that grindy matchup, because you'd think Ragsdale would be in trouble, but remember, he's just one Thragtusk and Resto Angel from being right back in this.
Exactly. He draws a Thragtusk. He's in great shape.
Yeah.
No Angels of Serenity, though.
Yeah, so can't get too out of control.
Jeff Hoogland's probably really worried about that card, but little does he know, there's 0 in Ragsdale's staff.
Yeah, Ragsdale down to 2. Staff of Nin for Hoogland. He's got so many Phyrexian Arena effects.
Yep, and that gets negated.
Yeah. A negate he knew about, so Hoogland, really kind of almost cast that straight to the graveyard.
Right. Just frees up his mana for next turn.
All right, and see if he has him on the swing. Restoration Angel in play. And it's going to get ultimate priced, which will probably get snap negated.
Okay, so Jeff Hoogland does not get the kill this turn. That Thragtusk will be double blocked down. No, I guess only...
Single block down.
Oh, yeah,
It's good enough to single block it.
Single block.
It's the 5/3, not a 3/5.
Right. And another Staff of Nin eats the last card in Ragsdale's hand to dissipate.
Yep, so the second Staff of Nin has been boarded in here. And it's just Snapcaster Mage there. 1 card in Ragsdale's hand. Luliana's gonna attempt to. Now he's gonna find the thing twice.
Here we go. Draw a card.
There you go. All right, and Jeff Hoogland takes game 2. So we see the strength of Hoogland's deck in this matchup is that he has more arena effects than Ragsdale. So the card I'm referring to is Phyrexian Arena. That's typically the name I've given to effects. It's a 1/1 for enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw an extra card, gain and lose a life.
Isn't that an enchant land?
It is an enchant land currently in the format too. It's I could say the Underworld Connections fight, which is actually surprising that Jeff Hoogland has opted for Staff of Nin over Underworld Connections.
Yeah, actually, we were just talking about this last night. The 1 mana that the Underworld Connections effectively costs every turn is just...
It's fairly relevant.
Huge.
Yeah, that sort of effect, the drawing extra cards effect, really wants more lands. So taking out one of your own lands to do it is pretty relevant. That said, 3 and 6 are such different numbers. I might still like it more in Hoogland's deck. But I think Hoogland instead just keep going... Certainly once on the battlefield, the Staff's a better card.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether it can get there.
Yeah, what I think might be the problem, what I would see with Underworld Connections, is that if you cast Underworld Connections on turn 3, or maybe we'll say turn 4, you'll rarely find a time where you can actually tap a land for it, because since your whole curve exists at 4 and 5, actually tapping that extra land to get a card off Underworld Connections would mean that you're time walking yourself. So you'll have a lot of situations where you just can't make the tap, in which case I guess Staff of Nin may be the better card here.
Exactly. I mean, if drawing that extra card keeps you from casting a Blood Gift or a Desecration, then it's definitely not worth it. Not usually, anyways. So, I like the idea behind Jeff Hoogland's deck. I think it has a long way to go, though. It feels really clunky. Again, just not much to do before that 4 or 5 mana mark.
Yeah. So what Ragsdale's going to have to do is keep those arena effects in check as much as he can.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him win the first game with a succession of Thragtusk and Restoration Angel. Jeff Hoogland did not have a removal-heavy draw that time, and it really seemed like once he was able to kill the first Thragtusk, everything else fell into place. Because game 1, he wasn't able to kill that first Thragtusk.
All right. So game 3, you have a turn 1 Hallowed Fountain from Ragsdale, Evolving Wilds from Hoogland. That's gonna no play from Ragsdale. A Sun Petal Grove. We get a Swamp.
What sets that Wilds from?
That's a promo Wilds of some sort. I'm not positive on the kind of promo it is. I'll try to get back to you here. And
So Overgrown Tomb Go from Jeff Hoogland. Both players content to just develop that mana base. And
Wow, that's huge. In this matchup, I almost want to say I don't think you can keep a hand with only 2 lands in it. It's just too much of a liability.
Wow, yeah, and he's discarding.
Yeah, and Hoogland very correctly playing around the Syncopate.
Yeah,
it does get negated, but I really like Hoogland played around the Syncopate.
Yeah, there's nothing like playing into a Syncopate and then playing the land that would have let you play around it. We've all done that play, and it never feels good.
Alright, and the 3rd land is hit by Ragsdale. Still has no plays, but...
Oh, wow, and that's a Cavern on Demon, tapping out for Blood Gift. That's huge. And Rift returns it to Hoogland's hand.
And that was actually the FNM Evolving Wilds. So, alright. Centaur Healer will come down for Ragsdale. Ragsdale moves up to 23 life, but he's gonna have to deal with those demons. Blood Gift Demon now, uncounterable from Hoogland.
It looks like Jeff Hoogland kind of snuck that land into play as he was saying go. It must have been all in one motion kind of thing. And yeah, it looks like Ragsdale just passing on 3.
Right. So you have to think, in this matchup, I would much rather keep a 5-land hand than keep a 2-land hand from either side of this board. Actually, each card has such high impact that you're with Ragsdale deck. Maybe you kept a 5 or 6-lander. You're only one think twice away from making that an acceptable hand. But the 2-lander, you need to really have like 3 of the top 4 of your cards be lands to make that a good hand.
Right. When your best when your best card and your crutch in the matchup comes at 5 mana for Thragtusk, that's pretty far away from 2.
It's not even just Thragtusk. Like, you don't want to stop at 5. You want to hit to 6 and 7.
Right.
And that's, I think off a 2-lander, that's just not. You just can't do that. And he's really being punished for it. Hoogland now aggressively, he's severing the Centaur Healer. Blood Gift Demon taking the game home again. So Jace, the Architect of Thought, will be made by Kevin Ragsdale. That's going to be -2 into Restoration Angel, Forest, and Snapcaster Mage. This is a tough decision for Hoogland because, yeah, he's going to say land and spells, and Ragsdale will take the Forest.
Yep, instantly by both players deciding there. They both know that Kevin just needs those lands. He has no shortage of things to do with his mana. And while the life totals are even right now at 18, this game is definitely not too close here. Jeff really, really far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they have to worry about is if Jeff floods out, but, I don't think that's going to happen. Vraska for Hoogland. He just wants to push the damage. Vraska will get the Jace, and Blood Gift Demon will hit Kevin.
Yep. Now, the Vraska is a non-land permanent. Jeff would have loved to have actually hit a land there, but he couldn't do that. So he'll have to settle for the Jace.
5th land from Ragsdale, and yep, here. All right, so Ragsdale is going to try to life his way back into it with enough Thragtusks and enough Angels. He could get back in this game.
Yeah.
Such is the power of Thragtusk Angel that he might be able to do it. So 2 cards off Blood Gift Demon. The problem is that 2 cards are just so good at burying Kevin.
Yeah, if you give a rock deck an arena effect
for enough turns, yeah.
Yeah.
So Liliana will edict away the Thragtusk, making a 3/3. That'll get ultimate priced, and this is exactly what I mean. Vraska will no mercy. Blood Gift Demon will hit Ragsdale back down to 13, and still a full grip for Hoogland.
Syncopate not so good against resolve permanents, but Ragsdale will fight on.
Another Thragtusk puts him up to 18. He then plays a 6th land, which is a Gilgate into play tapped, but still too many resources for Hoogland. This is just still to me seems too late. 2 more cards, and another ultimate price. And Liliana will make both players discard. Hoogland will get rid of probably a land, and the Syncopate hits the bin for Ragsdale.
Yeah, it's over, baby.
2 more ultimate prices.
Scoop them up, Kevin.
And a No Mercy by Vraska. Blood Gift Demon puts him down to 13. He'll pass back.
Vraska poised to kill a non-land permanent. The Liliana can make him sack a creature, and really, Jeff Hoogland just has this board locked down. Starting to go to work on Kevin Ragsdale's hand. He's almost out of cards himself, even after Blood Gift Demon. He can just play so many spells right now.
Right. Well, you know, he's now like by plussing Liliana, he's negating his own extra card.
Right.
So he actually is just playing a normal amount of cards, but Ragsdale's down to 2 cards. This should be pretty much over. Ragsdale drops down to 8 from Bloodgift Demon. And then Thragtusk, that's going to get Essence scattered. That's fine.
Vraska up to 5 right now.
Right. Probably will never make Assassins. You probably just keep it there as a large Vindicating Machine.
Probably.
And Liliana pluses again. This time gets a Dissipate. All those counter spells not doing anything. Kevin Ragsdale down to 3.
Yeah, Kevin Ragsdale really just needs a Cyclonic Rift.
Another Farseek from Hoogland.
Cyclonic Rift is maybe the only card that could get him back into this game.
And even that's going to be really hard. Ragsdale, yeah, he'll draw extra cards, scoop it. Jeff Hoogland defeats Kevin Ragsdale 2-1. Black-Green Demons moves into the 2-0 bracket.
Wow, Black-Green Demons. Who'd have thought it coming into the weekend? Hoogland, though, has a long way to go. There are 9 rounds in this tournament. He'll have to go 8-1 or 7-1-1 to make the top 8, so it's not an easy road. So if you are just joining us, I'm Zach Gall.
Matthias Hunt. Yeah, we just finished round 2 of 9 in the Standard Open. We saw Jeff Hoogland and his basically win 2 games over Bant Control off the power of Bloodgift Demon.
Yeah.